Hey everybody, Adam here with Hometown Acres. I'm here with Jake from Dude Ranch DIY. We are having our annual family Christmas trip up to Connecticut, which is where Jake lives, about 20 minutes away from my in-laws, so I always try to make a trip over here while I'm in town. And we were trying to figure out what we were going to do for a video today, and I almost went and bought a new truck yesterday, and the deal ended up falling through because the dealership was doing some shady stuff.
Typical.
And I thought, you know what? I'm in the market for a new truck. I want to upgrade from my F-150 to an F-250 or F-350. Jake here has an F-250, and you were considering upgrading from the 250 that you have, which is a super cab, to an F-250 or 350 with a crew cab, right?
The full four-door crew cab. We have a baby on the way, so my wife was kind of tossing around the idea of getting a full four-door. And we looked into it for a little bit, but I think similar to Adam, we were just kind of blown away by the pricing.
The pricing of these trucks today has just gotten out of hand. So let me tell you the story with going to trade in this truck. So I was going to look at a Ford F-250. I'm interested in the 7.3 Godzilla gas engine because I don't want the extra headaches of a diesel engine. They're more expensive, maintenance is more. You have to deal with diesel exhaust fluid unless you get them deleted. And so a gas engine is just much simpler, and I'm not going to be towing 5 days a week. So I'm interested in going with the biggest gas engine you can get just to avoid some of those headaches. And I'm looking for something to try to save on cost that's 2 or 3 years old, like a 22 or a 21 F-250 with a gas engine with, not a crazy amount of miles, 40, 60,000 mile range, something like that. So with those parameters, I'm shopping in the $45,000 to $55,000 price range. And I go to the dealership yesterday and they have their truck listed for $56,500 on the website, which is a little bit more than I wanted to spend, but it's close, and it was a really nice trim level. It was a Lariat, I think a super Lariat package, so it had all the bells and whistles. I fell in love with the truck. It was beautiful. 40,000 miles, low miles. I was happy with it. And I get there, test drive it. I'm going to buy this truck, right? Well, then we go down and sit down to do the paperwork, and the top line number that she puts on the sheet of paper is $59,500. And I'm like, I think you made a mistake here. The website has it listed for $56,500. And she goes, oh, that's our cash price out the door number. If you're financing it, it's $3,000 more. We have that in the fine print on every single page on our website.
Who reads the fine print?
And I'm like, you got me in the door. I drove 2 hours up here to buy this truck. But at this point, I think most people probably at that point, they're like, well, I'm here. It is what it is. I guess I'll just buy it. Not me. I'm an accountant.
Yeah.
I was furious. I was mad. Like, you tricked me. You got me here thinking that I'm, going to try to knock $1,000 off the price of this vehicle to get to $55,000 within my price range. And now I'm trying to negotiate $4,000. So we just could not get close enough. And I just dug my heels in and I would not move off my number. And I feel like most people probably just, like I was telling you about it.
That's even what I said. I was like, oh man, like you're a better man than me. That must be the accountant in you, because if I'm, 7 hours away from home plus another 2 hours up to the dealership, and we're going back and forth over $3,000 that you're going to finance anyway, to me, that's probably like another $75 a month, whatever. Like I probably would have just pulled the trigger. But Adam, being the accountant that he is, I have respect for you. You're a man that sticks to your guns, and that pays off usually.
And it wasn't even about the money. Yeah, I could have afforded the extra payment on it or whatever.
It's the principle.
It's the principle of the thing, is that they tricked you, and they know they're doing it. They put it in the fine print that nobody reads and nobody looks at. Anyway, that's my rant. I'm going off topic on the truck that I wanted to buy, but I am looking at upgrading from an F-150 to an F-250. I am starting to haul more and do more things off of the property. And I've been treating my F-150 like a 3/4 ton for a while now, and it's time I bit the bullet. But we were just talking about, so if I'm in the $45,000 to $55,000 price range for a vehicle that is 2 or 3 years old with 40 to 60,000 miles on it, I was also considering getting something like a 2011, like an F-250 like this style, with 50 or 100,000 miles on it, and just saying, hey, it's a work truck. I'm gonna be able to tow more. It's gonna solve my problems for as cheap as possible. But even those are $25,000, $30,000.
Yeah. And you're getting an older truck.
And you're getting an older truck that, you're gonna have to do some work on.
Right.
Right. Now, you were shopping the truck that you're looking at because you have a diesel now and you want to stick with a diesel.
Yeah, so this is a 2008 F250 with the 6.4 liter Power Stroke. They only made that motor from '08 to 2010, then they changed the body style. You'll hear a lot of horror stories about these motors. I have deleted it. It has been a great truck for me personally, but I was, looking at upgrading. Primarily not because the truck doesn't do anything that I need it to do. I have modified this truck till the cows come home and it does everything I need it to do and then some. The biggest reason we were looking at upgrading was just simply for the full four-door to have more room. Now that we're starting to have children and we have dogs and, just more of a family style truck, kind of like yours. And you were saying you were looking at that $45,000 to $55,000 range. I was looking at like the $65,000 to $75,000 range simply because I need a diesel. I don't drive this truck every day, but when I do drive it, 90% of the time, I am towing a dump trailer or an excavator or some piece of equipment, dump trailers full of logs where I can justify having the diesel, and it, in return, pays me back because you get the better fuel economy. It has the more torque and stuff like that. And I do a lot of the maintenance myself. But, similar to what Adam was saying, you were looking at trucks, with 50,000 miles. A diesel, 2 or 3 years old, typically they'll have about 100,000 miles just because of the longevity of the motor and,
Right.
Guys that are using them for their intended purpose are driving and towing and hauling and stuff like that.
They last longer and they hold their value longer and better.
Right.
And everybody always says, yeah, a diesel engine is an extra $10,000 upgrade on the front end, but you'll get it back when you sell it because it's going to hold its value just as well.
Exactly.
So it's not that extra $10,000 isn't just going to evaporate with depreciation.
Right. But, what we both just kind of said is that, like, both of our trucks, for the most part, do what we want them to do. And it's just kind of a tough pill to swallow, to be dropping $60,000, $70,000 on something that you don't really need, at least in my opinion. If my truck was breaking down every week, then maybe it's a little bit more justifiable. But this truck runs great. It has zero issues. So my wife and I decided that we're going to hold off, and it's amazing what you can buy for $70,000.
We were just talking. So I had planned on doing a video, and I still may at some point, doing a full cost breakdown of the 54 by 72 pole building that we built last summer. But it's right around the $60,000 price range is what I spent on that building. And so you look at something like a truck or a 54 by 72 foot building that's like 5,000 square feet with 16-foot walls, and it's like, I don't know, it's hard to spend a building on a truck.
Right.
And you're in the similar situation. You're looking at building a building here coming up here.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think your quote for your building was,
Our quote for our building, it's not as big as what you were looking for, but ours, I would say, is going to be more finished.
Yeah.
Insulated garage doors, like we want it up behind the house. We want it to be aesthetically pleasing. And our quotes, for all of that stuff, were in that $70,000 to $80,000 range. And when we started, tossing around the idea of a building or a new truck, it's kind of like, well, we don't have a building, and a building would be very useful. It would increase the value of our property. It would increase the value of my equipment. It would allow me to do a lot more. We're starting to, that building is starting to really outshine a new truck with, half of an extra door.
yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and I mean, the building is only going to appreciate in value. Your property value is always going to go up. Truck values are always going to go down. Now, there is the argument that if you use your truck for work, your truck is going to make you money. So I understand that, but like we said, it's a tough pill to swallow. They're so expensive.
especially when this truck, can't speak for you, but this truck is paid off. So I don't have a payment.
My truck is paid off too.
And that's really nice not to have a payment. Now, granted, we were probably just going to buy whatever vehicle we bought, outright and avoid the whole financing fiasco. But, a building, we could do the same thing and get a lot more use out of that than the one time a year our family goes on vacation where
you
we
need the full four
truly
doors.
can justify the full 4-door.
I'm the kind of guy, I'm a big Dave Ramsey fan. I don't like payments. We're at the point in life where we have paid off all of our student loans. We've worked really hard to do that. We've worked hard to pay off all of our vehicles. The only loans that we have or debt that we have right now is our mortgage, which we are working to aggressively pay that off as well. And these trucks, they just have you where it's very, very difficult to be the person that goes in and just drops a $70,000 check on the desk. And I think that's what really makes me mad about that car dealership that said, oh, that's our cash price, because they know
Right.
99% of the general public is walking in there to finance that truck. Nobody's paying cash except for 1% of the population. It's a fake number. Like, I consider us to be doing fairly okay in life, and I can't go in and drop 70,000 on a truck.
Right. I have a funny story about that, and specifically paying cash. My boss, who I'm very good friends with, he went in and bought a new truck, and he told the guy ahead of time that he was going to be paying in cash. And the dealer was like, okay, yeah, that's no problem. Come in, we'll take care of it, cash price. He walks in with, stacks of $100 bills, and the salesman was like, what is that? And he said, well, I told you I'm paying in cash. And he was like, oh no, you can't pay in cash. Like,
We thought you meant a check.
You can write a check. And he was like, well, why not? It's legal tender. Oh no, you can't. Where did you get that money? You can't, and where he got it's beyond not the point of the story, but they say cash price. And then if you were to walk in with the sack full of cash, they wouldn't take it anyway.
Can you picture what 70,000, like, that's the thing I think people struggle with is, when you finance something, it's just a number, right? That you're going to pay on for the next 5, 6, 7 years. But when you actually have $70,000 in cash, that is so much money. Like, people lose focus with all of the digital currency and credit cards and all that stuff. You lose the visual, you lose how much it is, the perception of it. It's crazy.
I bought my excavator fully in cash, $100 bills. That's the way the seller wanted it. And it was a struggle for me to go to the bank and take out that kind of money. I had to go to 3 separate banks and call ahead of time. And meanwhile, I had the money sitting, right in the account, plenty of money. And they were worried that I was getting scammed or somebody was pressuring me. They asked me what I was buying, why I was buying it. I said, well, I'm buying an excavator. And they said, well, why? And I said, because I want one. Well, why do you want an excavator? And I said, what little kid doesn't want an excavator? I've worked my whole life for this. Here I am. Give me my money. I want to go pick up my machine. And, that's just unfortunately, the way that society is today in this day and age. And, cash is a dying commodity almost, and Bitcoin and everything else is taken over.
So let me know what you guys think in the comments below about the price of new trucks. And if you've recently bought one or if you're looking at buying one, everything that I've been seeing online, there's all these YouTube channels out there with the clickbait titles that say the car market is crashing, the bubble is popped, Ford, GM, Stellantis, they're all in trouble, all this stuff. I don't know how much of it I believe. I think, repo rates are certainly on the rise, and car prices are coming down, but I don't think there's going to be any big major, like, I don't think the truck that I wanted to go buy for $56,000 tomorrow is going to be $48,000 or anything like that. It might come down $500, but yeah, the whole paying for cash thing, I think, is almost a myth in today's society. And so if you're out there shopping, that's my word of advice today, and you see a really good price on a truck, call the dealership before you drive 2 hours to go look at it, because it might be a not real number. And that's basically what it is. If everybody's financing trucks today and it's almost nearly impossible to pay cash for one, why even have the cash price on there other than to trick people to get in the door? It's a fake number. So.
Absolutely. But they got you hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah. And again, most people would have said, all right, whatever, you got me. Not me. I'm walking away. I'll find another truck. Get somebody else in here to walk in and buy that truck, not me.
Absolutely.
So. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, give me a big thumbs up, click that subscribe button, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.